How many times has it been said to you that you can't tell what a person is really like just by looking at them? Well, it's true. But for some reason, it takes us an awfully long time to learn this lesson. We can learn from everybody because everybody has something special to offer. This next song teaches this lesson very clearly. It says, among other things, that we must try to be patient and kind with everybody and look for their good qualities. The song is called Crooked Man. I met a crooked man who walked a crooked mile, found a crooked sixpence against a crooked stile, bought a crooked kitten that caught a crooked mouse, and together they lived happily in a little crooked house. I met a crooked man, crooked for he could not see, and yet he opened up a whole new world to me. Taught me how to build a castle with a grain of sand, and how to catch a rainbow in the palm of my hand. I met a crooked man, crooked for he could not hear, yet he could make me laugh if ever came a tear. He taught me how to sing and dance and whistle down the hall, and through these things I learned he wasn't so crooked after all. I met a crooked man, crooked for he had no shoes, only had one pair of pants, two shirts from which to choose. Yet he took me through the green grass fields with the blue skies up above, and the memory I treasure most, he taught me how to love. Crooked man, crooked mile, a crooked sixpence, crooked style, a crooked kitten, crooked mouse. Together they lived happily in a little crooked house. Together they lived happily in a little crooked house.
I am very excited today because we have an amazing woman here. She is deeply, I wrote this down, deep, stunning, extremely talented, present. She's provoking with her creations.
Tracy. I can't wait to hear about her.
I know. Oh my God. Tracy Newman. Oh my God.
Hi.
Hi. Kathy Buckley sort of said something like that too. It's like, who? Hi. How you doing?
Well, I'm actually, this is not that different from my regular life, this lockdown.
Yeah.
I generally spend a lot of time sitting right here, so.
Right. I love, by the way, your background is gorgeous to have all those.
Oh, all my guitars.
I know.
I just moved. I used to have my back to the windows, and when Zoom classes and things like this began, we realized my face was too dark with my back to the windows. So now the windows are on that side, and it's a better light.
Right.
And that's why these are here, because randomly that's where they were.
Yeah. It reminds me, I know you were planning to come visit us at Performing Arts Studio West, but of course, during this time, we had to stop that for a little while. But we have the wonderful, we have music classes, we have acting classes, dance classes. You're going to love it when you finally do get out there. Oh, look at that.
I thought I'd bring some of my friends. There's one of them, and
yes.
And here's another one.
Oh.
Bye, baby. My daughter's leaving. She just was swimming here.
Bye. Oh, swimming.
And of course, here I am enjoying myself with Jim Belushi. And here I am hanging out with my favorite singer-songwriter. I have a bunch of these, I guess, because, oh, here's a good one.
Oh.
My grandson and the puppy, the new puppy.
Oh, family.
But now I'm going to go back to the regular one.
Oh my God, I love it. And now I was going, wait a minute, is that fake too?
Oh, that one's real. You can tell because my head is normal. You know, in those virtual backgrounds, the fake ones, you know, the green screen ones, it's like your head goes in and out. It's weird.
Right. Green screen is a better word because they're not fake. They're full of love. And,
yes.
You know, I came to see your show. I mean, first of all.
Which show?
I think it was in Venice one night.
And the Talking Stick.
I think it was a Talking Stick. I have not forgotten that show. I think it was 2 years. No, I think it was like, oh my God, 3 or 4.
If my band was with me, it had to be about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, definitely, I think it was four, maybe it was 5 years. But it was such an evening that I won't forget because it was like so full of joy. And every time I've seen you and met you, you just have this smile that makes other people smile. And it's so joyful and inviting, and your work shows the love and positivity that's in your heart. So
thank you very much. You know, I'm glad to know that you remember a show. I mean, it's been a while. You know, no, I'm serious, especially with my band. Yeah. You know, I disbanded my band about 5 years ago, and one of the members recently passed away, and that was a big thing.
Yeah. Well, I know it really did. I mean, I remember there's certain shows and concerts throughout my life. I remember it's like my first concert at the Circle Star Theater, Sergio Mendes in Brazil, '66.
Yeah, that must have been very exciting.
It was fun.
Were you able to dance?
I don't know if I danced at that time. I was just in awe, sitting there with my mom and dad and watching. Oh my God, what is this? It's a concert, you know?
That's great.
That kind of thing. So you started playing guitar at 14.
Yeah. You know, I'm very old.
Oh, please.
So I was around when folk music kind of started becoming a craze through the Kingston Trio, probably more than anything else. I was involved a little before the Kingston Trio as a teenager, you know, a young teenager, because I had relatives like cousins who were playing banjo and guitar. And that's really what inspired me. But then when the Kingston Trio hit, the reason, I mean, anybody who wants to learn beginning guitar, if you listen to the Kingston Trio and you kind of like that music, most of those songs are 2 or 3 chords, and you can be playing them. I mean, if you're dedicated, you can be playing them in a day.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Tom Dooley, which was one of the songs I used to play, is 2 chords.
Yeah.
You know, it's literally this.
Yeah.
Here, I'll take this thing off. It's literally, can you see?
Yeah.
It's literally this. If you sing it in E, this is the key of E. And this. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley, hang down your head and cry. Or if you sing it here, hang down your head, Tom Dooley, hang down your head and cry. Whatever key you decide to sing it in, it's 2 chords, that's it. And so that was a hit, that was a #1 song back then.
Wow. Yeah.
Everybody was learning that song. And we had a pool, and I would sit on the diving board away from the family, away from everybody, and practice that. Because, you know, you practice, you learn something like that, and you're going, I'll sing it. Hang down your head, Tom Dooley, hang down your head and cry. That's what you're doing over and over until you can, you know, move and change those chords quickly enough and make a strum that works. And it took me, I'm sure, days and days and days sitting on the diving board. But if you think about it, to be able to actually play something when you're just learning an instrument and sing it, it was incredibly exciting. And I actually I could see, oh, I have the temperament.
Yeah.
at 14 to sit and do this like over and over and over. And I'm not bored by it. I don't
Right.
want anyone to listen. You
Right.
know,
Well,
you're glad you're far away from people, but I got to be pretty good for a kid, you know.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think of folk singer now, and I think of you, because I mean, I grew up listening to different folk singers. We heard the Jane Taylors but you are still going strong with it. You still keep
No, so
that.
is James Taylor, by the way.
Well, yes, he is. Thank God.
And
But
everybody knows it.
and everybody knows it. But I mean, just you keep it. You keep it.
Well, you know, I have gone, one of the reasons probably is, first of all, I've played guitar since I was 14. And even though I stopped performing for periods of time, like when I was in the Groundlings and when I was writing for television, I stopped performing. I never stopped, you know, writing songs and playing guitar.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, when I left TV writing,
Yeah.
which I'm not going to tell you how old I was, but I was too old to be going back to coffee houses and performing. You know, when I did that, I didn't have to sit and practice for days.
Right.
I already had it, you know, the ability.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the Groundlings, and you were one of the founding members.
That's right. My sister and me. Actually, you know, there were people who taught and we also performed, but Gary Austin, it came from a class, you know, just a workshop.
Yeah.
And Gary Austin was teaching it, and Tom Maxwell was in that class, and so was I. And we just had the, you know, that kind of temperament, that organizational. You know, Gary wasn't that way, but Tom and I were.
Right.
Like Tom didn't drink. All of us, everybody else was drinking and partying all the time, but Tom didn't drink. So that you needed somebody who was rigid, you know, in the sense that they would be at the theater, wherever it was, at 9 o'clock in the morning and open the doors.
Right.
Tom, really, I mean, the success of the Groundlings is probably because of Tom, because he was the person that literally had the discipline
Right.
to be there every day. If people had, the phone was ringing, Tom was there to answer it. If people wanted to join, they dealt with Tom, because, you know, it wasn't me or Gary. I mean, I was out there drinking too, but I was teaching, and I was teaching song improv there, even though I had never done it before. You know, we started with just this desire.
Just to jump on in.
About it, yeah. I mean, I had seen song improv at the Improv in New York in 1965.
Right.
I'd seen Robert Klein doing it and a couple of other people. And I played guitar, and I understood how you did it. So I just started teaching it, and I was the guitar player for it. And then a better guitar player joined, and he was the guitar player for it. And then a better musician, you know, joined, and he became the musical director, because I don't know how to read music, so, you know.
Right. Well,
I mean, you know, just started with passion.
Right. Well, some of the best singers and musicians don't know how to read. You know.
They don't, you know, and they'll all say, you know, I never learned, but most of them, as their careers went on, either they learn or they wish they had learned. Not everybody. I'm sure there are some who are glad and who don't care. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you can make a living in music if you're not a star, if you can read music.
Yeah.
In other words, if you have mad skills on the guitar and you can read music, you can be a session musician. Yeah. Same with singing, you know, and any other instrument. So yeah, and drumming especially. I mean, you have to be able to read charts.
Right. Right.
And so I never spent the time to learn, because I was earning money in other ways.
Right. Well, I mean, one question that I had, I mean, you do so many things. From the Groundlings, you met your writing partner, right?
John Stark was you know, we were both in the improv classes and everything. And remember what looping was? I mean, I guess people still do looping, you know, but we were in a looping group that was, sorry, my glasses, for some reason, there's something there I can't see. And I can't,
you know, hey, with that too.
John Stark and I did a lot of looping, along with a whole lot of improvisers, because when looping became when improvisers got into looping, there were all these groups popped up and they grabbed improv players, because then what it meant was that the writers of the show or the movie didn't have to write a script for the actors to say when they were doing background walla, right?
Right.
So we would come in and make it up. And it became a huge business. And I didn't run one of those businesses, but I was a constant player.
Yeah.
And so was John Stark. And one time we were in one of those looping sessions, and he said, the people who were running Cheers at the time, Bill and Sherry Steinkellner, they were ex-students of mine at the Groundlings, and they were good friends of John's.
Yeah.
They were in fact, they were in an improv group, that I think performed every Tuesday night somewhere.
Right.
And he said, Bill and Sherry Steinkellner asked me to write a script for Cheers, a spec script, not necessarily write a Cheers, but write it to present to them.
Yeah.
Like to get a job writing. Are you having any interest in writing television? So I thought, here's John Stark, who makes me laugh practically every time he opens his mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm like one of those people, like sitting on the guitar, sitting on the diving board playing the guitar, who can sit there and do something over and over and over and doesn't get bored with developing a skill.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't know how to write a script, and I was a typist, but not a great one. So I thought, I can type. I'm sure I can type fast. I can really do this. And he makes me laugh. So I think I know how to use that. And I just have to watch some shows for a while and understand and get a hold of a couple scripts. And I think I can do this. And after we started writing our first spec script,
right.
Which we got hired by Cheers.
Yeah.
But which is, what you call your lucky Hollywood break.
Yeah.
Like, it's all about who you know. But we developed the skills as quickly as we could. It took about a year.
Right. What's so fascinating about that, and so hopeful to many of us, is that you can start by doing the guitar and become a writer for a hit series.
Well, I think what it was I was entrenched in the entertainment field very early because I was playing the guitar, and I went to New York in 1964-ish, around there, and I'd already played a lot of clubs in LA and had traveled being, a singer-songwriter. But when I was in New York, I came across the improv in New York and hung around with improv comics and comics in general. And show business, really, it's a joke, but it became my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I just knew I have got to be involved in comedy.
Yeah.
And it just, that's how you end up, it was a circuitous route to get to TV writing. But it was really this lure of show business and being around funny guys.
Right.
That's what I was attracted to.
It's interesting too how it is, in a way, it's a domino effect in a way, because Cheers, and then the Bob Newhart show, the Nanny, and of course Ellen. I mean, you and Jim wrote the ground.
John Stark.
Oh,
you're getting him mixed up with Jim Belushi.
oh God, sorry, I wrote the wrong note here. But you both wrote the groundbreaking coming out episode of Ellen in 2001, which is one.
It was in 1997. We wrote it in 1996, and we won the Emmy in 1997.
Okay.
According to Jim, when we created According to Jim, which was starred Jim Belushi,
okay,
that was in 2001.
Oh,
so you've done your homework, but you've got your dates mixed up.
It's I somebody told me don't buy those chocolate chip cookies. That is my drug of choice. My drug of choice is sugar.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my God. That episode, though, is considered one of the most famous episodes, period, in the history of television.
It's up there, it was, what a time that was, it's kind of all a blur for me. It was a very exciting, obviously winning an Emmy for that show. I don't even remember the night. I mean, I was just in another world.
Right.
I remember the feeling of it, but I don't remember details of that night, except that my feet hurt, because I had to wear high heels.
Even on those cushy red carpets?
Doesn't matter. I mean, you're sitting in your seat wondering if you're going to win,
Yeah.
and you've got your shoes off if you're a woman. And if they call out your name, you got swollen feet by then, and you get those shoes on and you run up the aisle and you just about kill yourself, But it was such an exciting, that was a very exciting night. And, for Ellen, there's all sorts of things said about Ellen, these days. You can read stuff in the tabloids about her and stuff. But, she's no different from any other star performer who is, got this wonderful side and then this side that gets irritated because she's exhausted.
Yeah.
And during that time, she was pulled at from all directions. It was amazing to watch her sort of survive it,
I think people don't realize, they think actors and stars are, they've got it easy. They make all this money and this, but it is exhausting. All the things that people have to do emotionally, physically, they have to memorize the lines. It's not as easy as it seems.
Well, it's not, but it's like everything is relative. It's like, it's hard to look at someone like Ellen and feel sorry for her. On the other hand, if you hung around her, back at that time and hung around her every day and saw the turmoil that she was going through and the attacks, people who knew that episode was coming, the country was very divided and she was taking the brunt of a lot of crap. A lot of stuff was thrown at her. She was, and she's very sensitive. She can kind of dish it out, but not take it.
Yeah.
And she was having to take it all the time.
But she stood up. She stood up for what she believed in, and
she really did.
Yeah.
And she took a lot of crap for it afterwards, and lost her job, and all sorts of things happened for a couple of years until she kind of clawed her way back, and is bigger than ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I was always grateful for the opportunity to be. It's funny, the network and the studio chose John and me to write that script, and I think it's because we were the longest. We had been with the show from almost the beginning.
Okay. Whereas
other writers on the staff were new that season or had started the season before. I think one of them had been with us the whole time also, but John and I were a very kind of. We were in a lot of ways, we were kind of the right choice because we were kind of, I don't know how to explain it. I guess just being there a long time, we kind of knew how that show worked.
Yeah.
Best maybe at that time. And also the executive producer, Dava Savell and Mark Driscoll, both of them were executive producing. They wrote the second half hour of that was a 1 hour episode.
Yeah.
So 5 of us won the Emmy. Because Ellen pitched the story. Right. It was Ellen's story.
Did you know when you were writing that, when you were creating that, it was going to be something this special?
I think we knew it was going to get a lot of attention. My partner and I were always worried that because we were taking this leap of, sort of taking a chance with our careers, you have a career going.
Yeah.
And this is a choice. We could have said, choose somebody else. We don't really want to be under the spotlight like that. Our career had been going along beautifully. We were getting more and more money and better jobs. This is the kind of job that you get where you can take a huge leap or you can be destroyed. Because the critics could have destroyed us.
Yeah.
And we had 3 months to write that script. The Ellen Show let us take that time off. So a script is 22 minutes, David.
Yeah.
So we had 3 months to write 22 minutes that were funny and told the story that Ellen pitched to us.
Yeah. Usually you have 3 hours or 3 days?
Well, no, you have sometimes 2 weeks. You have sometimes 1 night. It can be all sorts of different things, but this was the ideal situation. They really coddled us. Yeah. And, we were like these star performers that were being, fed the best food and massaged every night. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but we were treated very, very well. And, there was not much likelihood that the script was going to be at least funny to us.
Yeah.
And would tell that story very well.
What is it about writing that you like?
Um, well, like is stretching it.
Mm.
Let's see. I don't usually like staring at the empty page. Most people will say that it's daunting, and
Ah,
uh, I like the empty page when I have no pressure, I guess, but I may not get it done.
yeah.
You know, I like rewriting. I think what I like is rewriting. I feel that there's a structure, more of a structure to rewriting, and I feel safer rewriting, a little more security, and yet there's a certain freedom, and in you've got your structure, and now you're doing jokes, and you're just rearranging. It's like maybe like a crossword puzzle. You're just rearranging things and finding exactly the right. I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong example,
No,
but
I liked it. I pictured the crossword puzzle being open and all the pieces flowing out, sort of like an improv. You
well,
don't,
that's like a jigsaw puzzle.
right? And then you
Yeah.
start putting it together.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a jigsaw puzzle too, and a crossword puzzle.
Yeah,
Crossword puzzle is like, oh, this word's going to come down here, but it's got to fit with that word, and
right.
so there might be 10 words that mean the same thing, but it's only this one has 5 letters and has that one letter in the middle that go. It's like, but it's fun to do it if you enjoy that, and I do.
Yeah, yeah,
And I loved working with John
yeah.
because John made me laugh. So, we'd be going along and say, we realized it was time for a joke, and he'd just say something that would kill me, or sometimes, rarely, but sometimes I would come up with the joke and
Yeah.
he would be laughing, and that always felt really good.
It's amazing when you find that other creative partner that you could like just
It's
create.
amazing. It's an amazing feeling. And, socially, we had no life together.
Yeah.
Together. I mean, like I was married, he was dating somebody. We had nothing to talk about except for the work.
Wow.
So we would get together at 8 o'clock in the morning and finish at 12 noon, 4 hours.
Yeah.
Straight work, no talking. And we did that even when we were in development and everything. We'd see other writers sitting we were at Disney, and there's like Goofy and Mickey Way or whatever it is, those
Oh,
streets. And they'd be sitting at these benches smoking cigars, sitting there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They just got to work, and now they're going to go in and work. And I was thinking, we're like about to go have lunch, and we're going to, we're leaving for the day.
yeah.
And we've we've been in the mines all morning, so, and those people got their work done that way. That's fine for them, but I couldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And now, do you wrote songs with John as well?
No, any song, I did write songs for TV shows we were doing. And no, I always did those by myself. I was very sneaky about it because I had my guitar in my office. And the minute I saw that there was a place for a song, possibly, I would run into my office and write it very fast because I knew exactly what they needed.
Yeah.
And sometimes somebody else would write it and bring it to me for the music. I'd give it to the script, to the music supervisor. It'd be recorded, it was done, nobody else could compete. How could they compete?
Right.
Like writers out there that aren't on the show are presenting things to the music supervisor, but they don't know what we need.
And you knew exactly from the
I would know
out of the-
exactly. And that once I quit TV and tried to get songs on shows, though, forget it. I was in the same boat as everybody else and still am. Even knowing people, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Unless you're in the room, you just don't really know what they need. You're lucky if you get a song on a show. I'm not talking about ambient music.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, well, they need they're in a movie theater complex, and he's taking his children to a show, and they need, every time they open a door, they need to hear a jingle or something coming out from a child's movie. And then they open another door and they have to hear something from, a teenage movie, something coming out. And even though some of that might be considered ambient, you wanted some of it to be very specific.
Yeah.
I knew what they needed.
Yeah. Yeah. I was I went onto your website, which is wonderful, and I was going through all the different doors. I was listening. You have a Place in the Sun CD, and the coloring book for children.
Unfortunately, we only did one coloring book. We have a lot of coloring pages still from all the other CDs, but the coloring book, my daughter did it, and it's just so. It's so important to me. I wish it could have afforded to do that with every CD, but it's an expensive proposition. But I love that I still have a bunch of them here too.
Right. Well, do you sell them on your website or?
I don't know. I have somebody else running that. So
Got
yeah,
it.
I don't know what they do. I mean, you have to, the company now is called Run Along Home for children's stuff. And they do have coloring pages on there. And if you go to runalonghome.com, which is runalonghome.com, you know, you'll find all my kids stuff. And then the adult stuff is at tracynewman.com.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
You go to my fun stuff. I don't know what they.
Well, I went to the artist experience as well.
Oh, artist entrance.
Entrance. God, I can't read. See,
No, you know, unless you sit and really pay attention to what's going on there.
Yeah.
It's like a backstage view.
Yeah.
Of some of these songwriters. You know what inspired them to write certain songs. And it's, you know, I wasn't able to keep it up because I used the talking stick to shoot it, and then the talking stick closed. I was getting it free.
Right. Right. Well, that is to listen to those. It's just like, okay, I craving me some Tracy Newman.
Yeah. What I was going to ask you is, there used to be a menu on the menu, a thing called Fun Stuff, and it was a video of me on Johnny Carson, and a video of me on at the Emmys, you know, winning the Emmy, and it's just and a little short film I was involved with that was on SNL, which was like so exciting for us at the time, like 1975 or 76.
Was that when you were on with your sister?
Well, I never was on, you know, Lorraine was a regular. Only thing I had anything to do with SNL other than she's my sister and she was in the Groundlings.
Yeah.
And that's where they discovered her, is this little film called Dave's Party. Phil Hartman was in this, and John Stark, my TV writing partner, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who else was in it, but you know, anyway, if you look up Dave's Party,
right?
I think if you go to YouTube and look up SNL Dave's Party,
yeah,
short film, or Phil Hartman, maybe. I'm not sure what you have to look up, but it used to be on my website. I don't know where it is now.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna go, because I went, I interviewed Bob Bergen a couple months ago, and he has, one of my favorite parts of his website was his fun stuff, and he would have all his voices and tapes.
Oh my God, that must be amazing too.
Oh, and when he met some of the, I can't even remember the names right now, but his idols, and he had cassette tapes of them that he put it on it. So I'm gonna go out, especially to rewatch that Emmy, because I'm sure I watched it during when it happened.
You know, I'm sure you did. Let me just make sure that I still have that what it's called now on the menu.
Fun stuff.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, so there it is, artist entrance. Okay, now I guess it's down here. The stories, the artist, the writer, the kids, the stories, right?
Right.
Seems like it would be that. You know, I don't know where they put it.
So it's like that hidden secret door in your website. That's what I like.
I mean, if you go to YouTube and you say Tracy Newman, Johnny Carson, you'll see the Johnny Carson stuff. You go, you know, Ellen, the puppy episode. That's what that was called, by the way, the coming out episode. You know, Ellen winning the Emmy for the puppy episode. You'll see that, because I'm in that too. I don't know.
What is your?
I can tell you because I don't know what it's under now.
What is your biggest joy?
Well, my daughter, and I have a grandson. So, you know, I can't even, I'm in love. You know, my grandson is Logan, and and my daughter is like the love of my life. You know, my daughter and my grandson, and I have to say my son-in-law, I adore him. And,
right.
You know, so I wouldn't be able to tolerate this lockdown if they weren't in my bubble.
Yeah.
You know, so every time I get to see Logan, it's like a huge treat. And also I'm really enjoying teaching, you know, co-teaching, because it's really John that's doing most of the teaching, but being back in that world a little bit of TV writing, it's kind of, I mean, it's not the TV writing world, but, you know, dealing with sitcoms and
and that's again, it's
knowledge, and I forget what I know, you know.
Got it. And that's again at the Groundlings you're teaching at?
It's, if you go to the Groundlings website, you'll see, well, it's actually, it was sold out pretty quickly and there's a waiting list. So if we do it again, I don't know if, it's like you'd have to get on the waiting, if you wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it costs. It might be $350 for 10 things or 8 things or 9. I don't know what the details are right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll set something that'll be a regular thing.
Yeah.
Because this is the first one. But you know, I'm just Tracy Newman, Jonathan Stark, TV sitcom writing at the Groundlings. Ooh, oh, Charlotte just wrote to me and it looks like there's an image. It's a picture of Logan and his friend. Oh my God.
Oh, family.
So, I can't give it to you because they don't like me to post pictures of him.
I understand.
You know, they think everyone's going to take him.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much. And thank you for wearing your scarf because I said, I have to get one too.
Yep, made you look good.
I know.
Got your scarf on. Except, you know, both of us actually, well, no, I'm okay because I'm up against a black chair, but you're up against this black thing behind you and the scarf is close to the color of it.
Oh, right.
So it's smart to get a contrast.
You're right on that.
Oh, that's nice. I can't do that. See, here's what I can do though.
What can you do?
I can cut off my head. Watch.
Oh my God. Oh! So you do magic too. When we have the vaccine, you'll have to come visit us and perform.
That I will do when there's a vaccine.
Because
I'll leave my house.
yes, we know. I know you're gonna love it there because I mean, the joy that you give to others. I think you're gonna like be surrounded by.
Well, I know my friend Lynn Stewart speaks very highly of it.
Oh,
I'm sure she was amazing.
Oh, she went there several times, and we just love her there. We had fun. All right. Well, be well.
Same to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Oh, good. Good. All right.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Ciao.